Okay, so, you know, this should be a mandatory thing when an officer's at the post academy, you know, peace officer standards and training, that they have to read, study, and be tested on the Constitution of the United States. That's what they're taking the oath to uphold. So why is that not required in this training? And that's an issue. And I think it should not, that's a non-negotiable. I understand where you're going with the question of, should that be a part of the negotiation? That's a non-negotiable in my book, and that should be taught in the academy.
But it's not happening.
No.
It's not happening.
No, but they're taking an oath to swear, to uphold it.
And they're
What?
publicly and openly admitting that they haven't read it, which tells me that they haven't been fully briefed on what the issues are on the people that they're going up against.
They raised their right hand.
Yes.
And swore.
Yes.
When they took that position, swore an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Right.
How can you do that when you've never have read the Constitution that you just swore to protect?
I understand. I understand it because guess what? I swore an oath to defend and support the Constitution of the United States and hadn't even read it.
Sure, you've been there.
As a United States Marine.
You've been there.
I understand, so I understand it.
Right.
But through this experience, it wasn't until later on in life when the Constitution has been so decimated that I really started paying attention to it to say, how can we get back to where we need to go?
Right.
And the answer is in restoration of our constitutional republic.
Well, and you know, law enforcement and the courts, you know, they have to enforce laws. You know, they're law enforcement officers, and I believe fully we're not anti-government. We need government. If we didn't believe in government, we'd actually be violating the Constitution we're swearing up.
That's exactly right.
And in that government, they have the constitutional ability to make laws and pass laws under, you know, legislation and the way the Constitution sets it out. And those laws need to be enforced. And you know, we need to have speed limits. That's a public safety thing. There's certain things we need to have, and I completely respect that. But you have books this thick that the police officers are upholding, but they haven't read this little guy.
No, and that specifically states that any legislation, court orders, so on and so forth, they're in violation of that thing are considered null and void. And people need to understand at least that portion of the Constitution, that it's null and void.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, they spend all the time studying 2-3 inch thick code books, but this little book here, which sums up everything how we were founded, how those code books are in place and how they're enforced, is right here in this little book. That can't be taught in the police academy. Finally, the FBI is reaching out to AMMON after 3 weeks to have this conversation, so that's a step in the right direction. Let's hope the FBI has good faith and good intentions on resolving this peacefully, but in the meantime, you can't help but notice how they're ramping up for engagement with tents, and they're bringing in personnel and cording off the hospital rooms for their own trauma bays. Well,
they're using that line, you know, we want to resolve this peacefully. Right. And I'm going to counter that by saying we want to resolve it constitutionally.
Absolutely. Right? But again, that's AMMON's thing where he's saying the Constitution is non-negotiable, so that's going to be on his table, and that's okay, and we support that. The other thing while we do that, and I have no doubt when we're all done and we get this information out, the community will be thankful for the things that we're finding, and how we have documentation how he's railroading ranchers around here, acting lawlessly and illegal, and he was in cahoots with the old sheriff who's no longer here because he stepped down of corruption, which was tied into Judge Garasti. Judge Garasti, I hope you're watching, because we're going to come for you and we're going to expose you and we're going to do it the right way. And all the fear-mongering you're putting into this town with these people, blaming the idle 3%, the PPN for all these things, it's only because you're using fear and intimidation and power tactics, and power, by the way, you don't have, to try to force us out of here, and it's not going to work. Because we have so much support in your community behind the scenes you don't even know. And we have hundreds of guys here on the ground that are going to make sure this gets carried out.
We are family members, fellow Americans helping our fellow Americans here in Burns. It's no longer an outsider thing. We're very, very concerned about what's happening here, exposing the corruption. And have you been able to establish that he is in direct violation of the State of Oregon Judicial Code of Conduct? On many levels. On many levels.
And that'll be exposed. And he should, when we're done with this, we're going to demand he be arrested.
Yes, sir. I say so. And there's enough, I mean, it's just, the evidence is overwhelming at this point.
There's so much coercion, there's so much, it's amazing. So anyway, we'll leave it at that, but that is being worked on, and that will be brought public as soon as we finish that up.
Okay. Also, sidebar investigation, the documents that I mentioned that have come forward from confidential sources. You have seen a portion of those on your own through your own independent investigation.
Correct.
And we will be revealing this information. We have stuff that we will be, first of all, we had to secure them. That's the most important thing.
As are secure and they're disseminated among trusted sources.
Among trusted sources, and you can't, try to, launch a campaign against Pete Santilli and using all your YouTube internet trolls. That's not going to stop this, is it?
Nope.
Can't take Pete out, you can't take Brandon out,
Nope.
and make this information go away.
No, because if you cut the head off of this snake, 4 more heads will grow.
Yep, there we go. That's a powerful thing. And you know what? It's all on the right side of good, for the benefit of the public, and of course constitutionality. That's what our intentions are. It's not to retaliate.
No, and I'm sure people are sensing that my updates and my interviews are getting a little bit more emotionally charged, and there's a reason for that, because I'm so sickened by the things that we're finding that's been done to this community and these poor ranchers community. These are good people here. And then these ranchers, these farmers that are here, that's the backbone of America. That's what built this country, and they're trying to take it away. And I'm so tired of the bureaucratic BS they're talking out both sides of their mouths, and it needs to stop, and we're going to put a stop to it.
Let's end on a very positive note. I want you to speak directly to the people of Burns. Okay,
Yes.
as we just spoke, families, okay, concerned Americans, helping these family members here in Burns get back to not normal, because normal is corruption. Normal is prosecutorial misconduct.
Yes.
Normal is an unconstitutional local and federal government that is taking away the people's rights to live and prosper freely.
Yeah, and to all the community members here in Burns, we're not here to be the bad guys. We're not here to take over your community. We're not here to march down the sidewalks with firearms and things like that. Yes, a lot of us do exercise our Second Amendment, just as many of the residents do in Burns. That has nothing to do with why we're here. The reason why we're here is to truly support your community because we care. We're not here for any other agenda or any other reason. And I know majority of you already know that because you reached out to us and given us so much support and help and information, and it's so much appreciated. Do understand that we're here for the right reasons, and we want to make sure that we continue to support you.
Read that on that wire.
Be here and support you and give you what you need to be a voice, to be loud and be heard, and not return to what you guys know is normal. We want you to return to what is a normal freedom of this county, and where the citizens of this county have a voice.
And normal is also, we know that this town has been subjected to the fear, the intimidation, the retribution that they've all lived under, and that needs to be lifted as well.
Absolutely, and you know that's the other thing. Don't buy into the smear campaigns. You know, we've met with some people that say we were blamed for something at a laundromat because they're wearing a 3% shirt and is Idaho 3% member. Don't buy into that stuff. Our members are acting professionally, and those that are here in the community that have come and talked to us and seen us when we're out eating and we're out conducting ourselves, we've exhibited nothing but that behavior. Don't buy into the rhetoric that Judge Grassie's shoving down people's throats here because he's so concerned what we're going to uncover and expose of him and his corrupt and dishonest ways. Because you can do a smear campaign all you want, but it's not going to stop us. I can do that from anywhere.
That's right.
I don't need to be bullied out of Burns, Oregon to do it. But the reason why we're doing this to all the members of Harney County and Burns is because we care, and that is the only reason we're here. And I want to make that clear. And if you have any other concerns, everyone, I've handed my phone number out to hundreds of people in this community, and you feel free to reach out to me. You see me driving in town, you see us downtown, you can stop me, talk to me.
Yep.
And I'm nothing but transparent, and we'll continue to do that, and why we're here. It looks like we got a card here.
It's a thank you card from Washington.
It's a thank you card from thanks to all of you. God bless you and keep you all safe. And I'll just read what she wrote in here. Brandon and all of you, please use a small donation wherever it is needed. I want to say thank you so much for being in Burns. Thank you for all you have done and do. Please stay safe and keep all those at the refuge safe. I stand with AMMON and the rest. We must get our country back. God bless you. Thank you, Tammy.
Tammy from Snohomish, Washington.
Snohomish,
Washington. Thank you, Tammy. That's much appreciated.
Receiving an overwhelming number of packages, care packages that are being sent.
Yes.
You know, some of the people that are spending money senselessly on some novelty items, stuff like that, we're not even going to give them credit. But the overwhelming number of we've got soup boxes, we've got perishables being sent, a lot of deliveries being made in support of this operation, this campaign. Here, and we thank each and every one of you for continuing
and thank you for all your
to do
support for everyone out there. You know, the donations have been helping. Cards.
Small meetings with very few community members. The meetings have grown larger, and the meetings have grown in support, not necessarily of the outsiders, but in support of the people that are starting to feel empowered.
Absolutely. In support of the community, they're in support of the message, they're in support of the direction things are heading.
Right.
And my commitment to Burns and Harney County, we will be here for that. We're not going in, we've already proven that.
The baton needs to be turned over to the members of the community, because when we leave, they have to take over and to continue.
And we are working on that. We are working, Harney County is establishing its own organization, much like ours, and we're helping them build that strongly and get the foundation in place. And the outreach to join that organization has been amazing. I mean, it's been huge.
You know, I mean, I hate, it has almost a negative connotation to say this, but to defeat normal that has taken place here.
You have to defeat normal.
You have to defeat normal.
Here's the thing, if we were here for any other agenda, everybody, please understand, with all the smear campaigning going on by the Sheriff's Department, with his press releases trying to create fear-mongering within the community against us personally, all the smear campaign by Judge Grassi, we would have left already.
Yeah.
Because when times get hard, if you're not there for the right reason, you turn and you run.
You put your tail between your legs and run.
And we're still here. And we're only here because we care. There's no other agenda, there's no other reason. You know, and we want to help this community.
The FBI, they can't contend with somebody like AMMON Bundy that walks up and says, guess what, we're going to open up the negotiations by saying the Constitution is non-negotiable.
Right. They don't know how to
it's
comprehend
difficult.
that.
They don't know how to comprehend it, especially if they haven't read it.
Well, there you have it. Both of these recordings were done yesterday, January 22nd, from Blaine Cooper and Pete Santilli. I'll leave the links below to the original versions. And I'll also leave a link below to help out with the donations for Pete Santilli and also for the Pacific Patriot Network. They are asking for volunteers. You can volunteer from home. You can send money. There are many things that can be done to help out if you wish to do so. Thank you. This is Call of Duty Goddess. And as always, I've got your 6.